Welcome to the Unfiltered Path Podcast, where we explore life's journey without the constraints of filters. In a world saturated with highlight reels, we dive deep into the true essence of individual experiences, offering listeners an uncensored glimpse into the triumphs, struggles, and transformative moments that define us. Our mission is to provide hope, inspire resilience, and remind you that every path, no matter how windy or rocky, can lead to growth and enlightenment. Join us as we navigate the uncharted territories of truth and to be moved, be inspired, and discover that you're not alone on this unfiltered journey of life. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Unfiltered Path Podcast. My name is Graham Duval. I'm the owner of Valued Productions. My company works to produce and implement video marketing strategies, proven to make you more successful with business, helping turn strangers into clients.
Feeling stuck in your career? Overlooked by opportunities? Unsure of your next step? Maybe you're tired of spinning your wheels, struggling with clarity, feeling like you have potential but is constantly overlooked. I'm Jessica Visick, a certified professional career coach with nearly a decade of experience helping professionals like you achieve clarity, confidence, and success. Take Lexi, for example. She transitioned into a leadership role in brand marketing after feeling stuck for years. Or Rodney, who landed his dream job thanks to a standout resume we helped with that wowed his SVP. If you commit to the process, we will help you with measurable results. We've helped countless professionals transition to leadership roles, pivot into new industries, and feel much more fulfilled in their careers. Your dream career isn't out of reach. Let's make this happen together. Schedule your free consultation today at yourcareerpartner.net.
Joined with my awesome co-host today.
Hello, everyone. Trinity Baker, mindset coach and motivational speaker. I help people who feel stuck get unstuck and live the life that they absolutely love with the power of their mindset. So every single one of us can do that. You can find me on all the socials, and I'm joined here with my beautiful co-host.
Hi, my name is Danielle. I'm the owner of Aerial Jade. I'm an aerialist. It's a fancy term for performing suspended in the air. Essentially, I'm the bird of the circus. I'm also an educator, so I teach other people how to do it too. And we're here with our wonderful guest today.
My name is Katie Lemieux, and I'm the owner of LA Taco Food Truck. I work to put great smile on people's faces and happy bellies. I'm the cook and chef and all the behind the scenes person.
That's awesome.
All of it.
All of it.
Heck yeah. I just have to say I'm super excited for today's podcast because when I didn't know who the guest was today, and I hopped on and saw my good friend Katie here as the guest, and I was like, sweet, it's going to be a good episode.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I've known Katie since we played tetherball in elementary school. And she would win everyone. So we would wait in line to play the best. Well, the ones that cared about being better, and I was one. And she would still win.
Yeah. Well, that was my game. That was like over basketball, over softball, like tetherball was it.
Katie,
I'm so passionate about it.
I have only ever met you one other time before, but I will tell you that I meet a lot of people and you stood out to me instantly. I love your energy. I love your vibe. I can feel your commitment in what you do. So it's no surprise that you got on here and the conversation just completely took off.
Yeah.
We're like business planning with Katie. Like, here's how you take your business to the next level. And we're talking about mentorship. And this is really like, I was just reminded quickly in the first 7 minutes of this that how important and why we're here doing this podcast to share exactly what we were talking about, which is like, we're all growing and we all face challenges. And so thank you so much for bringing my spark back this morning. I love that.
Yeah, you're welcome. Just started, so we'll get into that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So tell us like, what inspired you to start, like I know, because I know you clearly. So what inspired you to start a taco truck? Like, why tacos? Why the truck?
Yeah. Well, I mean, just like Trinity was just saying about the mentor, like I worked for a great human years and years on a food truck. First of all, I like to point that out because it's like brick and mortars versus food trucks. And, I had the honor of running a restaurant for this one guy that I knew for a long time. I had worked on his truck for about 10 years, and he asked me to be the runner of his restaurant that he was opening. And I was like, gladly, I'll take this challenge. I was ready for a pivot point in my life. And so I went aboard, and, I just really like to point out that this guy sees things in me that I never seen in myself.
Mhm.
He gave me the opportunity to like become the manager of a restaurant, which, however, I always worked in places where, yeah, there was potential, but to be truthful, it went as far as being like the head cashier, like that's it. It was just, there was no real big opportunity. So like, I grind on his food truck. Like I showed up day in and day out. I was one of those solid workers. We call Katie, like I'm showing up. Well, yeah, because the money was good, but it was something that I enjoyed. I was like, we got to go to different places. I never knew where we were going to go with Randy. He's like, yeah, I got this event. We're going to go here. It's like, hell yeah. I mean, I worked 5 days a week at my regular job, and then I would go work on the weekends with Randy. I mean, I'm working 7 days a week in the summer potentially. So moving forward a little bit, I got invited to be his, head person over at his restaurant, and sadly enough, that never renewed. We signed a 5-year contract with Side by Each Brewing, and for some reason he just didn't feel the need to keep going with the restaurant, because as he's seen and I seen that food trucks brought in a revenue that brick and mortars didn't, but in a half amount of time. Like restaurants, we got to be there day in and day out, 11-hour shifts at times. Food trucks talking 4 or 5 hour shifts. So he knew this, and he's seen that like, hey, we just got to stick to our food truck. So he wasn't going to sign. And originally he asked if I wanted to run another food truck with him and be his manager on that. And so him and I went to California together, and I convinced him to do a taco truck because of the previous place that I worked at. I seen the high demand for tacos and the lack thereof in our community. It was like I worked at a place at St. Mary's, and I tried to take away the taco bar to try to change it up, put some like pasta dish in place of it, and they were not having it. The people came at the door like, hey, when are we getting the taco bar back? So it was just, and we actually cater to the same set of people day in and day out at the hospitals, the doctors, nurses. And so, I'm like, if they don't want change, then that means that we're missing that particular item. So I convinced him to do tacos on this truck. And so we took a trip. We were like, let's go find out. Let's see what this is all about. We went to LA, where it all originated from, where they do it big, where the trucks really where they started. So just check out the guide.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's how he became my mentor. Like, not only did I start with him on his truck, and he didn't realize what he was in the making of doing for me, and I didn't realize what I was going to do either, So it was like, it was two people combined it together and not knowing what was about to take place,
I think
so
that's powerful though. So I just did a conference last week for women leaders, but leaders in general, right? We talked about how leadership is a trait and is a quality. It's not a position. And so what your mentor was this leader who recognized something in you and gave you an opportunity. And that's what like our obligation is in our roles as leaders, is to recognize those people and say, there's something about you, Katie, and you're going places. I don't know what it is, but I'm giving you an opportunity and we're going to go. And I love seeing that it played out this way for you, because it's so cool to see the finished journey when a lot of us, and you included, are still in the midst of our journeys. I think it gives us a little bit of hope.
I can add to her story in the terms as I remember when she told the universe she needed the mentor, because she was saving up to be an entrepreneur. You wanted to buy buildings. Yeah. And she ended up doing the taco truck instead. So I remember that first conversation, like, hey, I've been saving money. I want to be an entrepreneur. Tell me about your journey. I'm like, well, I went through this, XYZ. And then boof, the mentor came to you. Like the idea, the person, the path was like there. I remember that. Oh,
Yeah.
That's like the whole concept. When the student is ready, the teacher
yeah.
will appear, for
I
sure.
remember that moment for you when you were like, I remember you just declaring you wanted to be an entrepreneur and like really do that. And I know you've been around entrepreneurs your whole life, so it makes sense.
Yeah. And so it was so deep because Randy was like, he wanted me to be the manager on this truck. And then I just turned it around and I was like, in my heart, I was like, oh my God, I knew the work that was about to be put into this to be a manager. And for some reason, like something like possessed me to go, I think I want to buy the truck from you. You know, it's like, and I said this, I already went to the bank.
You were prepared.
He goes, what would they say? And I'm like, well, how much do you want? Like, how much do you want from it? Yeah.
Oh, I love that. That's almost, it's almost like you had a calling, like you heard, like felt this urge to be like, look, like I'm just doing it. And I can look back at a couple times in my lives where I can see that too. Like, and sometimes it doesn't feel right because it feels scary and fearful, but anyway.
And this guy is not one of those that's very sensitive. He's not like, he's a hard working, like, he's like one of those old school guys that like, he's not sensitive. You can't really have like a heart to heart sensitive conversation. It's got to be like, hey, can I buy that? Can I do this? Like, you know, it's straight to the point. And so it took me a lot of courage to do that. I do have to point that out.
Yeah,
a lot of courage. And then after the yes was there, it took even more courage to go, oh shit, am I ready? Can I do this? And I've had many talks with Danielle about how scary entrepreneurship is, and it can be because of like the limitations I put on myself, right? Can I do this? Am I good enough? You know, how am I gonna play this out? Right? And okay, I gotta back up just a little bit because here's the other crazy part. I was never a chef. I was never the top chef, and I became the line cook at his restaurant is what gave me the ability and knowledge to know that I could take my creative side to make something of it. So yeah, there's a lot in the making, you know, which I don't realize until after I talk about it. You know, it's like, damn, you know, I really did come from.
Oh my God, it just makes sense because you've been around, like your uncle cooked, and just like I don't know, and then the entrepreneurship, like we've like her family members and like we've always just been around entrepreneurs. Like she just has that spirit, and so do I, and we've had it since we were incredibly young. And so when now seeing you and even winning awards over your taco truck and just like being that girl, I'm just, you've been trained your whole life to be that girl, like to me. Anyways, like it's so obvious to me to see the journey, like, oh, you were totally, and that you being the lead cook, like even makes sense to me, but it's funny that you've never ever acted out that role. And that's cool.
I
That's
think
like,
that's,
she's an author. She's an author now. You know what I mean? Trinity is. So it's just like, you know, sometimes things happen like that.
I think that's a very powerful thing because, and I actually tell a lot of people this, like in the people that I work with too, and I'm sure you do, Trinity, as well, and you as well, Danielle. Like you really only need to be 10% further along than the person behind you or that your audience, or one step ahead of the person that you're looking to coach or teach or sell something to. And as entrepreneurs, like a lot of that whole thing is pivoting and essentially jumping off the cliff and then building the airplane on the way, or the parachute or the glider on the way down, you know.
No,
I totally relate with that.
I really do think that regardless of whether like best business plan you have, as prepared as you can be, it's always jumping off the cliff and building the freaking airplane on the way down. And a lot of people won't do that. I mean, would we do that with an actual airplane? No, but a lot of people.
It feels like that. That's a great analogy.
No, it really does. To be one of our taglines on our merch. And if you know, listeners, like we have some merch. You can go support the Unfiltered Path podcast with our merch.
Okay,
Always
gotcha.
posted,
And
always.
if you say something witty enough, we're making a bumper sticker.
Yeah. So if you've got
Oh, I love that.
you've got some, maybe we should start having our guests come with like a witty
Line.
live.
Yeah, like they could just submit a form and we'll
Yeah.
add
So
it.
on this topic, I would ask our listeners to take a second and reflect on exactly what we're saying, which is what skills do you have that you are 10% more along than others with? Because that's literally what every single one of us sitting in this virtual room and every single one of our guests made into a business.
One thing I'll add though is you always have to be in the state of education though. So you always have to be a student, but you always have to be a teacher. So you're the teacher to the person that you're 10% ahead, but you're a student to the person that's 10% ahead of you. And so if there's a moment where you stop learning, you can trust that your business will stop moving.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
And
So
man,
true.
I
You
feel like
gotta
that's
keep
important.
Yeah, you got to keep the 10% going, right?
Yeah,
So
Yeah, you gotta
yeah.
keep that gap.
I'm coaching you, which is fabulous. You're making transformations, but then you're getting closer to where I am. And so I'm always needing to be 10%. Like Graham, he teaches videoing, right? So Graham's always not videoing, but tons of strategy around using videos to maximize your business.
I've been in school for 3 years.
Yeah.
I'm paying for school thousands and thousands of dollars
Oh my
every
gosh.
year. I'm going to be a master aerialist in a year and a half.
Yeah.
Can't tell
And
you
I'm already
how much.
know what the school costs are, and I'm just keep going. Nobody knows that behind the scenes I'm heading in the book.
But with that,
I don't know yet.
but with that said, there are so many different types of education. I've been talking a lot about this these past couple of weeks with people. There's like your educational system, right? So Graham went to Berkeley. Danielle's doing aerial classes to become master. I have my own education, but also mixed with what Katie is talking about here, which is
Life.
the life
Yeah.
experience, right? So like
That was my 20s.
she grew up cooking. She has a passion. She's been in the industry. So no, Katie, have you been an owner of a restaurant or an owner of another food truck? No, but you were down deep in that stuff and you know exactly what to do. That's the education you have that qualifies you to be where you are today. And so I think it's a mix. I think sometimes it's a perfect mix. Sometimes it's 50-50 of life education and then formal education. And I think sometimes a lot of, I don't think mine's not 50-50. Mine's probably like 20-80 at this point. Mine is a lot of what life teaches me. And
Oh yeah.
just learn the lessons without having to go through it.
Yeah. Oh, most definitely. I mean, the amount of like monetary whatever that I've invested into personal growth is probably close to six figures by this point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the
I had
thing
to learn
is,
so much about business. Like I had to relearn business. I know that for sure.
exactly.
Yeah.
And like
You went to
through
school
that,
for business.
I did. Oh, technically, yeah.
You went to
And-
school for business and then you had to relearn the business.
I was in BMF
Which-
for 4 years. That was straight like grind education, like learning from everyone around me all the time. There was even in this, the podcast keeps me constantly vulnerable. I'm always learning something. I'm like, oh, so then I'm applying it to my system. So I'm always like evolving the system I have in place.
We're
most
giving
definitely.
free education here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, for
Yeah,
sure.
but now
And
I'm focused on like the book school. So
I
I'm in-
think,
yeah, it
I
has
think-
phases for sure.
I think that kind of touches on to the whole mentorship side of things where like the concept of you're the sixth person of the five people that you hang around with.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we've kind of touched on that a little bit too, is like, especially here at with the podcast and stuff, like if you're on that scary like edge, you're like, oh, do I ask this person to buy the thing, or, you know, do I spend the $1,000 on this coaching program or whatever it is? Trusting in the fact that like, if you're surrounding yourself with more of those type of people, that's the direction that you're going to go. 'Cause I know for myself, like I've had these like three distinct like programs that I've done, and each one, the groups of people that I were around have evolved the way that I do things. And now it's just like I've found a solid one and I'm just doubling down more on that group. And that is just allowing me to continue to grow. And that's what we try to do here is like the people listening is like, okay, you guys can all trust, all you listeners out there can trust that you can come here and get some of that inspiration and hear some of the things that we've done, and to get us to where we are.
So if you stumbled upon this podcast, I also think that the universe, whatever your higher belief is, puts those people in your life and those resources in your life. And so like Graham said, when the student is ready, the master will show up. Life is always doing that. It doesn't have to be this big master, but it can be these little people like our podcast.
Mm-hmm.
In your life, big mentors. Like Katie, you had no idea when you started working with your mentor that he was going to be your mentor in this way.
No. And it's like and he's still, even though I'm basically his rival, we're competition at this point in a certain kind of way. And he still doesn't. And that's why I will always consider him my top go person, because he'll tell me about all of the things that he does. And what do I do? Like at the beginning, like I shared with you, I go after what he does because he's a successful man. So that's about what Graham was saying. It's like, I surround myself now with people that are doing the thing. I surround myself with people that got what I want, so it's like now, and I like to throw this out on the podcast, like anybody that is doing what I'm doing and running a food truck, by all means, I'd be willing to come work on my truck for a weekend, come work on my truck for a month, whatever it is you got to do. And it's volunteer work, right? Because you got to come and you got to learn, just like we talked about. It's that schooling we have to give to ourselves. Sometimes it costs time, sometimes it costs money, sometimes it costs both.
Rich Dad Poor Dad insert.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's like
I feel like I read that book.
But that's my number one advice. Like I'm on these crazy groups on Facebook when it comes to food trucks, and whether it's Q&As and whatever, it's hilarious to watch in a way, just because like people do these types of things without knowing what they're going to get themselves into. And would I have gone in the food truck business without knowing about it? Absolutely not. It's your margin is this small. Like you got to really get it. We're seasonal. We are like the hustle and grind through the small amount of months is for real.
You got to go ahead. Literally created another side business for yourself there. Like, come on. You can literally create a digital product and sell, teaching people how to start and run their food truck. I
mean, the information that I've had, is like, it is worth $1 million, to the person that's about to get on these trucks, because imagine it's a hard fail. If you don't do it right and come out with a bang, it's a hard fail. And I just know that because I'm on these groups. It's terrifying. Sometimes I have to shut them down. I go, oh my God, I'm about to bring out my second truck. Am I going to, all of a sudden I start questioning myself, am I going to make it?
Don't question that.
I know, but it's these moments and times where it's like, you do get those thoughts and those feelings because you're about to expand. You're like, can I make it happen? Which I can, but.
Yes, I told you that you were nervous because you're going to become a business mom for the first time.
She sure did.
That is scary. That is scary when you have employees and people that care about it's like becoming a mom or a parent in the business world. It's a big deal.
Yeah.
I came across this quote this morning that says, you get tested the most when it's time to elevate to the next level. Don't fold. And I think that happens physically and mentally, right? So we have these thoughts that are like, can I do this? Am I going to fail? Blah, blah, blah. And then you have these physical things like, you get denied a loan or something, of what's needed for structure wise. That's not emotional. And what sets an entrepreneur aside from everyone else is our passion and commitment to make it work no matter what and not fold, right? Where there's a will, there's a way. I am sure if you looked back when you opened your first truck, all of these thoughts and all of these barriers you might be facing was still that happened and you already did it. So now you have the confidence in yourself that you can do it again, right? And that's what happens. We continue to level up in life. And so once you go through something here, you're like, oh, I've got that next thing. Like, I've got this. And then you recognize what wasn't feeding you. And I love that. And you stopped. Like, these groups are great. Like Graham just said, you create a whole business out of that now. That's what, but then
that's really smart.
But then you recognize
literally.
it's affecting my mindset. And I know that I need my mindset to be here for me to level up. So I'm going to pause it now.
Well, the
You're
reason I'm
literally
going
in a
to
perfect
ask for Eric-
spot. Oh, go
Okay,
ahead.
the reason I'm paying for more school is really because I want to be a great teacher. Well, who's the teacher to running a food truck? Like,
Yeah.
there's a need for it. So I'm not going to school to have some title. That's not it at all. I want to be a good teacher. So I'm going to a school that doesn't teach me aerial moves. It teaches me to be a teacher of aerial moves. I'm learning about the nervous system, like how the mind is working around the fear. Essentially, I teach people how to overcome fear and build confidence that happens to build muscle.
Yeah.
So like at the real base level, I redirect fear constantly. That is my job. And so I pay people money, and that's why. So I think that if you are creating a safe place for people to become entrepreneurs, specifically I'm going to show you a little bit about cooking, the business side. Katie gave me my first list of fairs to call when I wanted to play my aerial rig at fairs, and now I'm booked all summer, 3 years later. So
You're
you
in
need,
such a
yeah,
spot.
it was a
If
good
you
idea.
wanted, the fact that you're doing this whole second truck, like you're starting like another one from scratch. If you document your entire process of like, okay, this is the thing that I got to do. I got to paint the truck. I got to install these things. I got to do this thing. Every single thing that you do, just like, even if it's like with your phone, just like documenting it, that becomes a digital product that you could easily sell to someone and just like, come learn how to start a food truck. Boom. That's an extra.
I mean, the
side
thing is
income.
sitting in my
Graham knows
driveway right now. And so, I mean, I'm totally blessed with the people around me because, Graham, I love that you mentioned, taking photos and about to, I mean, I bought the truck an empty shell. It's literally sitting. I mean, I was helping cut steel, aluminum for the first time. Like all these men in my life are just teaching me how to do things that, I don't think I had passion for, would like to, but it's about to be my truck. So I am documenting. I'm not yet on the videos, and like that's a whole nother fear base. It's a whole nother problem that I talked to Danielle about. It's just like disassociating myself sometimes with personal part of Facebook and personal part of like social media, so I can have the confidence to like put these quirky videos out that like I'm not worried someone's going to critique the whole that than not, because I'm building the truck from the ground up, literally.
Even if you don't put anything out for right now, like just take your phone and record yourself doing it so that you can have it. Cause you know what I mean? I'm saying like you could easily put it together as a product, and now you've got another side income that can help offset some of your stuff.
Your slow seasons, right? So we hear the passion that you have for your business, right? Like I'm not saying that you ever have to be outside of the food truck, but it's a seasonal thing. So imagine having a revenue that covers your ass when you're not in season, right? Like that's what I'm talking about. And Katie, people like courses are incredible because everyone's continuing education. So courses are just a way for people to continue education that's like a lower level than hiring a coach or a mentor, because not everyone has a coach and mentor. So if someone's like, hey, I want to open a food truck, but they don't know the coach and mentor and they can't find the coach and mentor, they may be waiting for your course.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And I just want to throw out there that this is like food truck number 2 has not been presented to the world. It hasn't been talked about. I haven't posted on Facebook. So I'm waiting for the perfect opportunity to do that, which happened organically, obviously.
Well, I'll say that in 2 weeks, it's going to happen because that's when this podcast is coming out. Maybe 3 weeks at that point.
And then if Usman does a clip.
So I'm excited. I'm excited for that. And I'm more pumped. I'm more pumped that I was able to talk about this like so easily. A couple of years ago, I wasn't so keen about having these podcasts because the confidence within myself it wasn't there, so I have a hard time seeing like, that was the other thing the entrepreneur gave me. It was like my confidence to just be in the world is
Yeah.
so much better and higher because of that, this one small smidgen thing of my life, right? To me now, work is just a small part of my life. Like I have to be human and I have to be kind and loving and giving to the world outside of me. And like it's given me opportunities to do that. I love personally more than my food truck, I would say I love to teach. And I don't say that easily because it really
Oh
I guess I
man.
really haven't found the big opportunity to do that in my life. Besides, Graham knows a piece of my life that not
Yeah.
a lot of other people know. But besides, the program that we existed in together, like I was a teacher in that. But now my life has shifted, and it could be like we just talked about. It could be the mentorship when it comes to,
You're
you know,
Oh
also
my gosh.
very
It,
faithful woman, and the need to serve like internally comes out, in my opinion, sometimes as being a teacher. Like it's like
mm,
we
Oh,
want to give it back as soon as we have it.
yeah,
yeah.
Like and that is just really from source.
there's a
Like,
there's a
that's that
client
beautiful spiritual thing, in my opinion.
there's a
yeah.
client that I work with, and he does like property management and stuff, and he's always talking about the service bone. And like you clearly have the service bone, like
Mhm.
from doing the food truck and like the wanting to teach and things like that. I feel like this is like, and in the words of Trinity, a universal wink coming your way
I
Yeah,
love that.
Yeah.
That's
should be
cute.
on
something to
our
do.
shirt for
So
sure.
Yeah.
episode, Danielle made a quote and I posted on a Facebook after because it was so powerful. And this has come up, Danielle. I swear to God, I've pulled up this exact post to read to people 20 times since I posted it. I'm going to do it again because
Okay.
the path to use your gifts is often the path least expected. And if
Mm.
you look at that, Katie, that is literally you, right? Like that's me, that's Graham, that's Danielle, that's literally every single guest we've had on this podcast in the past year.
Yeah.
And when you recognize exactly what you just did, entrepreneurship is a way, it's a vehicle that lets us be there,
Yeah.
giving,
Mm.
using our gifts. It's just an avenue. It's a vehicle where all four of us are entrepreneurs right here, but we do much different things. We serve in much different ways with much different gifts. But the bottom line is we got gifts. The path to use them is often the most unexpected, quirky path ever.
Yeah.
And we're all the same right here, committed to the entrepreneurship because it's an obligation. Once you're given the gifts and you're shown what way to use them, it's now an obligation.
It is.
Yeah.
That's how I see it. It is an
Mhm.
obligation. I feel more responsible to teach than just about anything else. Like
Yeah.
responsible to a sort like something I can't even explain. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I feel responsible to do that, to serve. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
I was dragging my feet on something I needed to do the other day. I was just like super burnt out from life in general. But anyway, and that's really what got me going was like, this is my obligation is to get these people this stuff. I was the gifts that I'm giving, like dumping into this document, and I need to give them it. So like that's the stuff that we use for motivation. It's a lot of entrepreneurship motivation is not monetary. Like a lot of us aren't making money the first couple of years, or we're putting it back into the business. We might be making money, but we're, investing it in different ways than, you normally would your salaried job. So I think the most important thing to remember is like, as entrepreneurs, there's different stuff that motivates us.
Yeah.
And in the moment we have to tap into that. Like, to get motivated, sometimes we have different tools, but it's all a choice, right? So you either choose to get motivated by the things that motivate you to get going, take action, make the shift, stop procrastinating, get over the fear, get over the doubt, and take the opportunity, or you stop and you go back to you don't need to do that anymore, and then you're not using your gifts and you're stopping your obligation.
Most definitely. I was listening to training this morning, and they were interviewing this guy, and he was talking about how he was telling his story and how he was scared to make the, like, he had just put together this brand new offer, and it was like the most money he'd ever put together in an offer before, and how he was like scared to put it out there. But there was a line that he said is like, the how did it go? Something along the lines of, the only offer that you don't make is the offer that people can't say no to. You know what I mean? So you have to make the offer. You have to do the thing, because otherwise there's no opportunity for them to either say yes or no. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think that's spot on.
Yeah.
I will say you inspired me though, because yesterday my student assistant came over, and before she was leaving, I was like, my friend Katie is getting another taco truck. We could always have another rig. You could become certified like me. Like we could start that process. And she looked at me. I was like, kids are everywhere that deserve to know this art form. And she was like, she kind of just gave me a smirk, because she's usually like, I don't want to do it. I don't even really like kids, which is BS. She loves being served to them. Watching hundreds of kids go one at a time fills your soul. She shows up to do that. And she kind of likes my kids. She only pretends like she does. So anyway, so like it just inspired her, and it inspired me to want to grow too, right? Because then I'm already responsible for her, but then it's bigger, right? And then I'm letting go a little bit all at the same time. Like, because I'm not there. So I'm enabling someone else to be great.
That's powerful.
So, that's what I said to you too. I'm like, you're gonna give someone else an opportunity to be an entrepreneur? Are you kidding me? Like, this is so exciting. Like, do not question it. And if you do, just call me.
I hope that our podcast gives our listeners listening that you not have a direct mentor that's doing exactly what your passion is, or what you're thinking you might want to go into, or gifts you have. But I hope that we continue to be that mentor for you, to let you the first step, because if it's on your mind, it's an obligation to follow, right?
I think this is even more reason why we need I gotta jump on and get us a group, because I think this is even more reason it'd be cool to have all those people in one location, interacting with each other. So
because I was just about to say, like, going off what Trinity just said about giving the listeners, some inspiration and something to listen to positively. But what I've gotten out of this is it gives me the opportunity to hear myself, hear my success, talk about the good things that I do, and inspire myself. Because we've talked about how lonely entrepreneurship can be. I'm in my head, I'm in my things, I'm in my own little world, right? But when I come here, and I've done it when I go to BNI, I do it right now, I can tell you, it's like, it's better than hitting a joint or any other type of anything. The high you get from talking about this shit, it's like no other. You cannot get that like that. No. So it's just the inspiration that I got from all three of you, even if there wasn't one person that we hit with the podcast anywhere else, just know that you need it, I need it, we all need it. This is a space that we talk about, and sometimes we say things and go, damn, that's what I needed to say that. I needed to say that for myself. So
in sharing those wins and that gratitude, it just perpetuates that even more, and then more things.
That's literally what my journal that I publish is about. It's about recognizing. It's literally celebrating your wins and whatever that is. If you got out of bed, if you started a business, and everything in between, and then having gratitude. Like, when we do that, it's a circle that continues to get us motivated. And so we have places like this where we can celebrate and it's a reflection. You're reflecting, Katie, and I love hearing your reflection.
I'm happy to be one of your reflections.
Yeah, I love it.
Thank you, guys.
I love it. That's super cool. This has been an amazing conversation. I hope our listeners get some inspiration. Go take that action, jump off the cliff, build the airplane on the way down. If you have any questions, or you want any sort of, talks or anything, leave it in the comments. We're happy to address any
Or
of
if you want
that.
to be on the podcast.
Yeah,
Oh,
reach
say
out,
it, Katie,
reach out,
say
reach out. We're
it.
happy to
Come
connect
on,
with
reach out to my
people.
friends. That was good.
Most definitely. So go follow the Unfiltered Path podcast, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. My name is Graham. I'm the owner of Valued Productions. You can find me at valuedproductions.com. That's VALUD Productions, or same thing, social media at Valued Productions. Joined with my co-host today.
Hey everyone, Trinity Baker. I'm a mindset coach and motivational speaker. If you are looking for a mentor on helping you build and harness the power of your mindset to do the things, jump off of the cliff, and someone to help build that metaphorical airplane with you, I'm here. That's what I do professionally for as many people as the universe wants to bring to me in all the ways. You can find me at thetrinitybaker.com on your favorite social media platform, The Trinity Baker. Joined here with my co-host.
Hi everyone, my name is Danielle. I own Aerial Jade. If you're looking for inspirations in terms of increasing your ability to be active in your everyday life, I'm a mom, I'm 39, and I'm still a professional athlete. So if you are feeling discouraged, please follow me. I also inspire, my students are 7 to 54. So there's no limits. There's inspiration sprinkled all over my newsfeed. And my cute kids and a few selfies with a poem. And we're here with our wonderful guest.
My name is Katie Lemieux, and I'm the owner of LA Taco Food Truck. You can find us at LA Taco Food Truck, all one word, on both Instagram and Facebook. It's the best way to find where the food truck will be next. If you're looking to learn more about food trucks and how to get in that, if that inspires you, just hit me at 207-754-8431, and I can give you some more directions on how to go about that and, make it a reality. So I appreciate everybody that's, been listening, and for my friends inviting me on the show. It's been great.
Making a career pivot can be overwhelming, but trust me, you're not alone. Hi, I'm Jessica Visick. I specialize in helping professionals like you navigate change with confidence and clarity. Today, I'm offering a free one-on-one consultation to discuss your goals and how we can achieve them together. Don't wait. Schedule your consultation today at yourcareerpartner.net.
Awesome. We're glad that you're here. Thank you all for listening. Make sure to follow, like, subscribe, all that good stuff where all podcasts are, the Unfiltered Path Podcast, and we'll see you next week on the Unfiltered Path Podcast.